Hey guys, Marc from parkflyers.com. Today we're looking at an epic new release, the Traxxas Sand Car. Retails for $1299.99. It's available for in-store purchase on April 4th. Now this is one of the most ambitious releases from Traxxas to date. It is $1299. It's one of the most expensive releases, and we're going to go into why we think it's worth it. And the first thing is you have to know that there's several upgrades in this car over a standard Traxxas X-Max. Is the 2085X steering servo. Now, the old servo was a big problem for the X-Max customers. Usually people would break it within the first month. They'd be really upset, and they'd probably jump into the 2085X. Well, good news is that the 2085X now comes standard in this car. It's got metal internal gearing, and the transit time is much faster than the standard Traxxas servo. It is definitely something that's great, and like I said, you don't need to upgrade it once it's in there. The other upgrade over the X-Max that you have in this car is 1.5 mod internal gearing. That's going to add to the durability and longevity of the gears of this car, and we really think it was about time they did this. The X-Max and the XRT do not have those. So again, it's a wider space gear, it's a bigger gear, it's going to make it more durable, and is a very nice addition to this car. Now the braking servo in this car, unfortunately, is a standard 2075 servo, plastic internal gearing. Now it does stop the car adequately when you actually want to give brakes on the car. You notice how abruptly the car stops. It's very controlled and it's very nice. However, because of the plastic internal gearing, we're worried about long-term durability and repeated use. Now, I'm going to tell you to leapfrog over the metal geared 2075 upgrade servo at $50 and go straight to the $60 2270. I think that's going to be the appropriate gear for the brakes in this car. And it's something that you're going to have like a little bit of insurance policy. You put it in and forget about it. Now, speaking of brakes, that's what makes this car stand out from a regular car. It has front disc brakes, and it really makes the car stop on a dime. It is repeatable, it is very nice, and it's a very nice feature that the car has. The front brakes work like a regular car's brakes. If we go back to the HPI Baja, it was a gas-powered car, very popular, by the way. That only had a single disc brake next to the engine. This, you have two brakes in there in the front of the car, and it's going to stop a lot better than a Baja 5B. Now, speaking of the Baja 5B, it's the same format as that car, two-wheel drive, basically buggy car, and it is going to drive similar to that. However, it does drive, I would say, a lot better because it's a lot faster, first of all. It's electric, so I think it's more balanced. But this is going to take it a little bit further. Now, we want to talk about some of the highlights of this car that I like that make it stand out. The first is the jumping balance. When you hit the jump, you don't need to manipulate the throttle in any way. You hit the jump and it just sails over the jump, and it really performs well. Very, very nice the way that Traxxas took the time to balance the car properly. Now, I think they did this with the weight of the motor in the back. It is a scale motor. It's a 9-piece item. They didn't have to make it as heavy as it is, which is 14 ounces, and I think they did that for jumping balance, and it really did work. The other area that you feel the car's balance is when you pull a wheelie. When you pull a wheelie, just like the scale Funco Motorsport car, where it pulls up and it's like a controlled type of like kind of like a floating, like a gyro type of wheelie where it's like really balanced and it holds it. This car does the same thing. You just launch it off the line and you can do like a 40, 50 foot wheelie, no problem at all. So jumping and wheelies are really balanced in this car. The other thing that's really special in the way it drives is the disc brakes. You notice right away that the stopping power is above average over like an X-Max or even any two-wheel drive car like a Baja 5B. It's going to stop a lot better than anything like that, and it is really a nice touch to the car. The other thing that the brakes allow you to do is because they do work so strong and they're on the front end, when you're approaching, let's say you're giving full throttle, and then you hit the brakes and cut the wheel at the same time, you're able to rotate the rear of the car like a real car and actually change the attitude and direction of where the car is going. It makes the car 100% addictive. So you have air balance, you have wheelie balance, and then you have that control with the front end. This car, the theme of it is a car that has total control. And that is why this car, I think, is going to be one of the best-selling fifth-scale cars ever released. I think it's one of the most. You can tell that Traxxas really did put a lot of time into this, from the scale looks to the upgraded features that come with the car to the performance. It is the most well-rounded and just most refined RC cars experiences that I've had probably to date. I'm not just saying this. I think it's going to be a very big release. Now, with a lot of releases with Traxxas, sometimes it takes people to realize how good these things are. They have to get out there. They have to see them. They have to touch them. I just wanted to give you a preview into this. I think it's going to be something big. And I think the price is going to be accepted over time. Just because it's $12.99 doesn't mean it's going to sell in small amounts. I think people are just going to gravitate towards this. I would say if you have an RC collection, sell everything and get this. That's how good this is. It's going to be one car. If you need one car in your life and you don't need anything else, just get this. It is that good. It doesn't really need any upgrades out of the box. It's one of those few cars that you really could just drive it box stock and you could be happy for quite a long time. Now, there are a lot of upgrades coming out for it. In this particular car, we put the $100 light kit. You got the pods in the front. You got the light bar front and rear. You got rear brake lights and reverse lights. And they're all controlled by the Traxxas app. You could also cycle through the modes on the controller itself. The other upgrade that you want to consider are the rock lights. It's $24.95. They go right underneath the shocks and it lights up the wheel wells. Very nice touch. The other upgrade is the underglow body lights. They usually are go in line with the color of your car, so red for red. These are $39.95. It's just a nice touch that Traxxas does if you want to make your car a little bit more appealing, or if you drive at different times of the day where it's a little darker out, you could actually have a really good time with it and make it look really hot. But other than that, it doesn't really need much. It comes with these 10-inch whips. They come in the color coordination to the color of your car. They light up nice. It gives it a nice touch, and it really makes it look very easy to see when you're driving the car far away from you. It's really a nice touch, and it gives some appeal to the car. They're not unbreakable. There was a review by Car Driver, where he actually broke them. So they're not unbreakable, but they are very durable. They're going to be really hard to break. They don't come installed. You have to take the car out of the box and install them with about 4 screws. Really easy to do, but not a big deal. As far as the brakes are concerned, there were initial reports that the brakes were getting seized up. Traxxas put out a memo in the kit that you have to actually, if you're driving in extreme sandy conditions, you have to loosen up the rod ends about 8 turns just to give more play in the disc, between the disc and the pad. And this way you're not going to seize up. But out of the box, if you're just driving in compact hard dirt, or it's not really that sandy, you can actually get away with the stock setup, which we did. Now we're going to be putting this car through some more testing through the next few days. We're going to be really interested to see what the speed gearing does for it. I'm curious. The speed gearing will take the car from 50 to 55 miles an hour, but we want to see if the car loses torque. If it loses torque, we're not going to be interested in that. If it doesn't lose that much torque and it just adds some top end, we're going to actually be really happy with that. But we're going to report back to you and see if that speed gearing is going to do anything for us. As far as availability, there's going to be limited availability in the next couple weeks. We do have this on our website for pre-order. We have about 8 available, and we do have some other upgrades on the site. You could check it out under upgrades for the car. But anyway, if you need to speak about the car, want to buy one, call me at 1-800-470-8932. Ask for Mark. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us on this video on this epic release of the Sand car. Please leave your comments below and let us know what you think of the car, about the features, the price, the looks, everything. We want to know everything. Don't hold back. You can be as nasty as you want. It's a free country. And please express yourself. Anyway, we'll see you on the next one, and have a great day.